The grand imperial fleet of the Zorvan hierarchy hung in orbit around the blue-green planet like a cluster of metallic predators. Commander Vex Taro stood on the command deck of the flagship Inevitable Conquest, his four arms crossed over his armored chest as he gazed at the main view screen. "So, this is Earth," he said, not bothering to hide the disappointment in his voice. "The notorious homeworld of these humans." Senior tactician Lura next approached, her scales shifting from neutral gray to a slight orange of curiosity. "Does it not meet your expectations, Commander? Look at it. A primitive planet circling a common yellow star. Their technology barely reaches beyond their own satellite." Vex snorted, gesturing with his lower right arm. "The reports must be exaggerated. Our Emperor concerns himself with ghost stories about these creatures." "The reports are quite specific, Commander," Lura said, bringing up holographic data on her wrist display. 4 previous conquest fleets. 4 complete failures. The last one, under Supreme Commander Zal, was entirely destroyed. Only a single escape pod returned. Vex made a dismissive clicking sound with his mandibles. Incompetence or sabotage, nothing more. The Zorvan hierarchy has conquered 87 species across 3 galactic arms. These humans have only left their planet for 2 of their centuries. They have no unified government, no significant space fleet. He straightened his ceremonial cloak. "We will succeed where others failed, and add another trophy species to our collection." "The survivor from Zal's fleet mentioned a specific human," Lura continued, scrolling through her data. "A female they originally captured for study. Apparently she escaped and was responsible for—" "Nonsense." Vex slammed his upper hands against the command rail. "One primitive female against a conquest fleet? Next you will tell me she breathes fire and can fly between stars." The bridge crew stifled their laughter. Lura's scales flushed slightly blue with embarrassment. "As you say, Commander, I simply thought all intelligence should be considered. Your diligence is noted. Tactician Nex. Now prepare the first wave. We will begin with their orbital defenses, then methodically eliminate their planetary command centers. Standard conquest protocol." "Yes, Commander. And the captives for study?" Vex waved a hand dismissively. "Take the usual sampling. Focus on military and leadership specimens first. We include some of their scientists and," he paused, mandibles clicking in amusement, "perhaps find this mythical female warrior. I could use the entertainment." Lieutenant Jaya Patel crouched behind a shattered concrete barrier, clutching her assault rifle against her chest. The alien invasion had begun 3 days ago, starting with their orbital defense network being systematically destroyed, followed by precision strikes on major military installations worldwide. Now the ground forces had landed, 8-foot-tall, 4-armed insectoid warriors cutting through humanity's defenses like they were made of paper. "Status report." She barked into her comm unit. "Eastern perimeter completely overrun, Lieutenant," came the shaky reply from Sergeant Davis. "They have got some kind of energy shields. Our bullets barely slow them down." "What about the heavy weapons?" "The tanks are gone. Air support is non-existent. We have got 2 functioning rocket launchers and maybe a dozen grenades left." Jaya cursed under her breath. The 75th Rangers had been one of the most elite fighting forces on Earth. Now they were being swatted aside like annoying insects. "All back to position Delta. We will make our stand with the civilians in the bunker." "Copy that." "And Lieutenant? They are taking people. Not just killing. They have got these floating containers. They are putting selected people inside." A cold knot formed in Jaya's stomach. "Understood. Move out." She glanced at the sky, now perpetually darkened by smoke and the shadows of massive alien ships. The bunker might buy them a few more hours, maybe a day. But the truth was brutally clear. Earth was losing. Humanity was losing. She had just started moving when a whistling sound cut through the air. Before she could react, a net of glowing energy enveloped her, sending excruciating pain through every nerve ending. As darkness claimed her, her last thought was of her parents back in Lucknow and how she'd promised to visit after this deployment. When Jaya regained consciousness, she was floating. Her body was suspended in some kind of transparent gel inside a cylindrical container. Around her were dozens of similar containers, each holding a human, some military personnel like herself, others clearly civilians. The chamber was vast, metallic, and cold, illuminated by harsh blue-white light. She tried to move, but her limbs responded sluggishly. The gel seemed to provide life support while minimizing resistance. A perfect prison. Through the distortion of the container, she could see the insectoid aliens moving between the rows of captives, examining readouts, occasionally extracting one for closer study. Hours passed, or perhaps days. Time became difficult to track. She observed the aliens, learning what she could. They communicated through a combination of clicking sounds and what appeared to be subtle color changes in their scaled skin. The hierarchy was clear. The ones with elaborate cloaks commanded, the others obeyed. Eventually, they came for her. 4 aliens surrounded her container, disconnected it from its moorings, and guided it to another chamber. This room was smaller, filled with equipment she couldn't begin to understand. A larger alien with a decorative helmet awaited. "This one has high neural activity," one of the aliens clicked. "Military training, based on muscle density and scar tissue." The container drained, and Jaya gasped as the breathing apparatus detached from her face. 2 aliens gripped her arms with their lower limbs while attaching monitoring devices to her head and torso with their uppers. The decorated alien approached, studying her with multifaceted eyes. "Can you understand me, human female? Our translation matrix should be functioning." Jaya remained silent, focusing on regulating her breathing. Military protocol, name, rank, serial number only. But these weren't human enemies. "Your cooperation is not required," the alien continued, mandibles clicking in what she interpreted as amusement. "Your species' resistance has been educational, if ultimately futile. We have conquered beings twice your size with technology far beyond yours." "Then why study us?" Jaya asked, surprising herself. "Ah, it speaks." The alien's scales rippled with color. "We study all our conquests. Knowledge is valuable. Understanding why lesser species believe they can resist helps prevent future inefficiencies." Lesser species? Despite her situation, anger flared inside Jaya. "You caught me with a cheap trick. Try facing me one-on-one." The alien's clicking grew louder, apparently their version of laughter. "Your species' bravado is remarkable, given your circumstances. I am Senior Biological Researcher Mech. This is my 60th Conquest Species Study. You will be documented, analyzed, and your useful genetic material preserved before your kind joins our extensive collection of subjugated worlds." "You are not the first to try conquering Earth," Jaya said, straining against her restraints. "History's full of overconfident invaders who underestimated us." "History is written by survivors," Mrek replied. "And soon there will be no human historians left." He turned to his assistants. "Begin the neural mapping. I want to understand how these creatures maintain morale despite obvious defeat." Pain exploded behind Jaya's eyes as something probed into her mind. She clenched her teeth, refusing to scream, focusing instead on a single thought: find a way out, find a weakness, survive. The procedure continued for what felt like hours. They extracted blood samples, tissue samples, scanned her body with various devices, all while maintaining the neural link that felt like hot needles in her brain. Through the haze of pain, she gathered fragments of information from their conversations. These aliens, the Zorvan, had conquered dozens of species. Earth was just their latest target. They believed humans were physically inferior but were puzzled by their continued resistance. Previous invasion attempts had failed, though they blamed this on incompetent leadership rather than human capability. When they finally returned her to her container, Jaya was barely conscious. But as the gel re-engulfed her body, providing blessed relief from the pain, a new emotion replaced her fear. Termination. The neural mapping results are fascinating, Commander Merrick reported on the bridge. These humans possess remarkable psychological resilience. Despite overwhelming evidence of defeat, they maintain hope and continue strategizing resistance. Commander Vex looked bored. Is this relevant to our conquest timeline, researcher? Potentially. Their adaptability exceeds previous subject species by a significant margin. I recommend increased caution in. Caution? Vex interrupted, mandibles clicking sharply. We have reduced their global military capability by 70% in 3 planetary rotations. Their governments are in disarray. Half their major cities are under our control. Yes, Commander, but the previous fleets were commanded by incompetence. Look at our progress. Vex gestured to the tactical display showing Earth's surface increasingly marked with Zorvan control zones. Your concern is noted, researcher. Now return to your specimens and leave conquest to warriors. As Mrek departed, senior tactician Lura approached. Commander, we have detected unusual activity in holding Sector 12. Power fluctuations, communication disruptions, technical malfunctions. Have engineering address it. Engineering reports no malfunctions. And there's more, 3 guard drones have gone offline in the same sector. Vex finally showed interest. Resistance? From captives? Impossible. The containment gel suppresses physical capabilities and the chambers are impenetrable from inside. Nevertheless, Commander, protocol suggests. Alarms suddenly blared across the bridge. Red emergency lighting bathed the command center. A report, Vex demanded. A massive explosion in holding Sector 12, a subordinate called out. Containment breach, multiple specimens released. Impossible. Vex roared. Deploy security teams immediately. The view screen switched to surveillance footage. Smoke filled the corridors of the holding sector. Through the haze, figures moved, human figures. At their lead was a female smaller than the others but moving with purpose, directing the escaped captives with decisive hand gestures. How did they escape the containment units? Lura asked, her scales paling with concern. Alone. The units showed no sign of failure until they simultaneously ruptured. Vex leaned forward, focusing on the female leader. Identify that specimen. The computer processed the request. Subject 7724. Human female. Military designation Lieutenant Jaya Patel. Captured during 3rd planetary rotation of invasion. She's organized the others, Lura observed. They are moving with military precision. On screen, the escaped humans had armed themselves with equipment stripped from fallen Zorvan guards. The female, Patel, held a Zorvan plasma rifle with surprising competence, using it to clear a path forward. Where are they heading? Vex demanded. Lura studied the ship's schematic. They appeared to be moving toward scale shed and molting. They are heading for the atmospheric shuttle bay. Lock it down. Deploy elite guards. I want that female recaptured immediately. Jaya Patel led her ragtag group of 23 freed prisoners through the alien vessel's corridors. The ship's layout had become familiar during her captivity, but one advantage of the aliens' arrogance was their carelessness in discussing ship operations in front of what they considered mindless specimens. Davis. How's our 6 looking? She called back to the sergeant she'd been relieved to find among the captives. 2 of those bug bastards just rounded the corner, firing. The sound of plasma weapons discharge echoed in the metallic corridor. Save ammunition. 10 more sections to the shuttle bay. Jaya adjusted the alien weapon in her hands. She'd watched how they handled them, memorized the trigger mechanisms and power settings. Now that knowledge was keeping them alive. A civilian scientist they'd freed, Dr. Reeves, ran alongside her. Lieutenant, I have been studying their technology during captivity. These ships have a significant vulnerability in their propulsion systems. Tell me when we are safe, Jaya replied, ducking as energy bolts sizzled overhead. For now, focus on staying alive. They reached a sealed door, The entrance to the shuttle bay, according to the ship schematics Jaya had memorized. An alien security panel glowed beside it. "Cover me," she ordered, examining the panel. The aliens' confidence in their superiority extended to their security systems, simple color-based sequences she'd observed during her captivity. She pressed a sequence of colored patterns, and the door slid open. Beyond lay their salvation, a dozen atmospheric shuttles designed to transport troops to planetary surfaces. But between them and the shuttles stood a line of elite Zorvan guards, weapons raised. "Surrender, specimens," the lead guard commanded. "Return to containment or be terminated." Jaya assessed their options in microseconds. Direct confrontation would be suicide. But the shuttle bay had another feature she'd discovered during her observations: emergency protocols. "Everyone scatter," she shouted to her group. "Make for the maintenance tunnels beneath the floor panels." As her people dove for cover, Jaya fired not at the guards but at the atmospheric control panel on the wall. The shot connected, and alarms blared as the bay's emergency decompression sequence activated. Warning lights flashed, and massive doors began to open to the vacuum of space. The Zorvan guards, caught unprepared, scrambled for pressure suits or handholds. Jaya and her team were already prying open maintenance access panels, but dropping into the pressurized service tunnels below as the atmosphere above them vented explosively into space. "That was either brilliant or insane," Davis gasped as they crawled through the cramped tunnels. "Both," Jaya replied with a grim smile. "We have got about 3 minutes before they override the emergency protocol. Let's make them count." They emerged from the tunnels on the far side of the bay, where a single shuttle remained secure behind atmospheric force fields. As they raced toward it, the main doors to the bay slammed open. Commander Vex himself stormed in, flanked by elite guards in full battle armor. "The female," he roared, pointing at Jaya. "Take her alive." Jaya turned to her people. "Get to the shuttle. Start the launch sequence." "What about you?" Dr. Reeves asked. "I will be right behind you. Go." As her team made for the shuttle, Jaya stood her ground, plasma rifle raised. The alien commander approached, his 4 arms holding various weapons. "Impressive for a primitive species," Vex said, mandibles clicking. "But ultimately futile." Jaya's smile was cold as winter. That's what the last invasion fleet thought too. Human and alien faced each other in the cavernous shuttle bay, representatives of 2 species locked in a contest of wills, the one believing in inevitable conquest, the other in impossible survival. And in that moment, the battle for Earth entered a new phase. Commander Vex towered over Jaya, his mandibles clicking in what she now recognized as amusement. The shuttle bay's emergency lighting cast harsh shadows across his armored exoskeleton. "You have provided an interesting diversion, Lieutenant Patel," Vex said, his translator giving his voice an electronic rasp. "But surely you realize the futility of your situation? 1 shuttle against a conquest fleet? Even if you escape this vessel, where will you go? Your planet's defenses are crippled." Jaya kept her stolen plasma rifle trained on him, aware of the elite guards flanking her position. "Supposedly superior beings, you Zorvan make a lot of assumptions." "Observation, not assumption. It is the natural order of the universe. The strong consume the weak." "And yet here I am," Jaya replied, slowly circling to keep Vex between herself and the majority of the guards. "A primitive human who escaped your supposedly inescapable containment, freed your specimens, and is now royally messing up your day. How's that for natural order?" Vex's scales flushed a deep crimson. "A temporary anomaly. Your species will be catalogued, your resources harvested, your survivors enslaved, as with all 87 species before you." Behind her, Jaya could hear her team boarding the shuttle, the engines beginning their warm-up sequence. She needed more time. 87 conquests, huh? Impressive resume. But I'm curious about something, Commander. Why did you need 4 attempts to conquer little old Earth? What happened to the previous fleets? Her tone was conversational, almost friendly. Did they have? What's the word I'm looking for? Ah, yes. Incompetent leadership. The barb hit its mark. Vex's scales shifted to a molten orange, and he stepped forward aggressively. You know nothing of our previous campaigns. I know they failed. And I know you are about to join them in the history books under catastrophic military blunders. With a roar, Vex lunged forward, pride overcoming tactical sense. Exactly as Jaya had hoped. She dodged sideways, triggering the emergency release on a nearby pressure suit storage unit. The explosive decompression blasted the heavy metal doors outward, catching Vex and two of his guards in their path. In the moment of confusion, Jaya sprinted toward the shuttle. Plasma bolts sizzled past her head, scorching the deck plates. She dived through the closing airlock door as Davis provided covering fire from inside. Lieutenant Patel has successfully boarded, Dr. Reeves announced from the pilot's chair. But I need someone who can actually fly this thing. Jaya scrambled to the controls. Move over, Doctor. I have been studying their interface systems during captivity. You learned to pilot an alien spacecraft while being tortured and experimented on? Davis asked incredulously. Multitasking is a human specialty, Jaya replied with a tight grin, her fingers dancing across the unfamiliar controls. The shuttle hummed to life, repulsors lifting it from the deck as Zorvan troops pounded ineffectively on the sealed hull. Hold on to something. Jaya called as she punched the thrust controls. The shuttle shot forward, scraping against the bay doors and leaving a trail of sparks before bursting into the void of space. The massive Zorvan flagship loomed above them, weapons systems already tracking their escape craft. They will blast us out of existence in seconds, someone groaned from the passenger compartment. Not if they want their ship intact, Jaya replied, piloting the shuttle in a tight arc that kept them close to the flagship's hull. These shuttles are meant for troop deployment, not space combat. But they have one interesting feature. She pointed to what appeared to be a magnetic grappling system. The Zorvan don't use parachutes. They use these to secure to landing zones. Understanding dawned on Davis's face. You are not planning to. Attach us to their primary communications array? That's exactly what I'm planning. Jaya maneuvered the shuttle toward a forest of antenna spires protruding from the flagship's upper hull. With precision that belied her unfamiliarity with the controls, she engaged the magnetic grapples. The shuttle shuddered as it locked onto the array. Now what? Dr. Reeves asked. We are stuck to their ship. Jaya was already accessing the shuttle's emergency systems. These shuttles are designed to protect their occupants at all costs, including from hull breaches. She activated a sequence that caused the shuttle's exterior to glow faintly. Atmospheric shield engaged. Now we can do this. She fired the shuttle's thrusters at maximum power. The communications array groaned and then tore away from the flagship's hull, still attached to their shuttle. You just ripped out their communication system? Davis gaped. Fleet coordination requires communication, Jaya said, disengaging the grapples and putting distance between them and the now damaged flagship. Without it, their conquest pattern will fall apart. They will have backups, Dr. Reeves pointed out. Of course. But we have bought time and created confusion. And now she adjusted their course toward Earth. We are going home with something even more valuable. On the flagship's bridge, chaos reigned. Commander Vex, his ceremonial cloak torn and his carapace dented from the storage unit impact, roared orders at his subordinates. Restore communications. Launch pursuit craft. I want that shuttle destroyed. Primary communications array is completely offline, Commander, reported a technician, scales pale with fear. The backup systems are functional but limited to short-range communications only. The fleet is awaiting instructions that we cannot transmit, Tactician Lura finished. Ground forces are continuing standard conquest protocol, but without coordination, efficiency has dropped by 60%. And the shuttle? Entered Earth's atmosphere 12 minutes ago. We have lost tracking. X smashed a control panel with his upper right fist. How? How did one primitive female do this? Lura's scales shifted to a thoughtful blue. Commander, I have been reviewing the records from previous failed conquest attempts. There are similarities. Speak plainly, tactician. In each case, a small group of humans managed to capture Zorvan technology and turn it against us. Our previous commanders dismissed these as lucky anomalies, but the pattern suggests that these creatures are more dangerous than we recognized. Vex finished, mandibles clicking in agitation. Prepare my personal shuttle. I will lead the recovery operation myself. Commander, protocol dictates. Protocol has failed us 4 times on this wretched planet. The human female has our communications array and knowledge of our systems. If she shares this with their military forces, Vex didn't finish the thought. He didn't need to. The stolen shuttle set down in the ruins of what had once been Fort Benning, now abandoned after the initial Zorvan strikes. Jaya's team worked quickly to secure the area while Dr. Reeves and 2 other scientists examined the captured communications array. It's incredible, Reeves breathed, studying the alien technology. Their entire command structure relies on quantum-entangled transmissions. No wonder our conventional electronic warfare had no effect. Jaya kept watch at the perimeter, the alien plasma rifle still clutched in her hands. Can you use it? Or better yet, disrupt their remaining communications? With time, yes, the principles are actually quite elegant, if completely foreign to our current understanding of physics. But the real prize is this. Reeves pointed to a module at the center of the array. Unless I'm mistaken, this contains their entire tactical database. Fleet positions, troop deployments, weaknesses, everything. How quickly can you access it? A few hours, maybe less? I will need. The conversation was cut short by Davis's urgent call. Lieutenant, we have got company. Zorvan dropships, at least 3 of them, coming in hot. Jaya sprinted to his position and followed his pointing finger. Sure enough, 3 sleek alien craft were descending toward their location, weapon systems already powering up. They tracked us, Jaya realized. Everyone to defensive positions. Reeves, get that data. We need to transmit it before they overwhelm us. The first plasma bolts rained down before they could fully deploy. The shuttle that had been their salvation was hit directly, exploding in a ball of blue-white fire. Jaya and Davis dove behind a shattered concrete wall as debris showered around them. We can't hold them off, Davis shouted over the barrage. Not with what we have got. We don't need to win, Jaya replied, checking the charge on her plasma rifle. We just need to buy Reeves enough time to extract the tactical data. The Zorvan drop ships landed in a triangular formation, disgorging heavily armed troops. At their center walked Commander Vex himself, now clad in full battle armor, his 4 arms each wielding a different weapon. Lieutenant Jaya Patel. His voice boomed across the battlefield. Return what you have stolen, and I will grant your group a quick death. Resist, and you will experience pain beyond your primitive comprehension. Charming fellow, Davis muttered. Jaya raised her voice in response. Here's a counteroffer, Commander. Return to your ships, leave our solar system, and I will consider letting you live. The Zorvan troops clicked their mandibles in what must have been their version of laughter. Even at this distance, Jaya could see Vex's scales flush with rage. You are surrounded, outnumbered, outgunned. What possible advantage do you think you have? Jaya didn't answer immediately. Instead, she activated the short-range communicator she'd taken from the shuttle. Reeves? Status? Almost there, came the scientist's strained voice. The encryption is complex, but I have isolated the tactical frequencies. Give me 3 more minutes. You have got one, Jaya replied before addressing Vex again. My advantage, Commander? Knowledge. While you were busy studying us as specimens, I was studying you as enemies. She fired a precise shot at a Zorvan soldier whose armor configuration marked him as a communications specialist. The plasma bolt struck his equipment pack, causing it to explode in a shower of sparks. Your troops rely too heavily on direct orders, Jaya continued, picking off another specialized soldier. Without command communication, they hesitate. It was true. The Zorvan forces, momentarily cut off from Vex's direct tactical feed, had paused in their advance, looking to their commander for guidance. Primitive tactics will not save you. Vex roared, personally leading a charge toward Jaya's position. Reeves, Jaya called into the communicator. Got it. Accessing their combat frequencies now. What happened next would later be described in human historical records as the turning point. Dr. Reeves, using the captured communications array, broadcast directly into the Zorvan tactical network. But instead of a message, he transmitted a precisely calibrated feedback loop. Across the battlefield, Zorvan troops clutched at their helmets as their integrated communications systems overloaded with screeching feedback. Those with neural interfaces collapsed entirely, their nervous systems temporarily paralyzed by the unexpected input. Only Vex, who had disconnected from the network to lead the charge personally, remained unaffected. He continued forward, all four arms raising weapons toward Jaya's position. You think disrupting communications will save you? He snarled. I can kill you myself. Jaya stood, stepping out from behind cover to face the alien commander. You still don't get it, do you? This isn't about one battle or one stolen ship. Enlighten me before you die, Vex replied, weapons charging. Gladly. While you were tracking our shuttle, Dr. Reeves was transmitting. Not just to any receiver, but through your own quantum network. Every Zorvan ship in orbit just received your complete tactical database, command codes, and most importantly, the override sequences for your ship's power systems. For the first time, uncertainty flickered across Vex's features. Impossible. Our encryption was designed to keep other species out. But I gave them your authentication codes, the ones I memorized while you thought I was just another helpless specimen. Jaya pointed to the sky. Look up, Commander. Despite himself, Vex glanced upward. Through gaps in the clouds, flashes of light could be seen in orbit. Explosions. What have you done? He whispered, mandibles quivering. Earth's remaining military forces just received everything they need to turn your own ships against you. Those flashes? That's your fleet tearing itself apart as their power systems overload. Jaya raised her plasma rifle, aiming it squarely at Vex's central mass. You called us primitives. You treated us like specimens. You never once considered that while you were studying us, we were studying you right back. Humanity doesn't win because we are stronger or more technologically advanced. We win because we never, ever stop adapting. Vex lunged forward with a roar of defiance, but Jaya had anticipated the move. She sidestepped and fired simultaneously, the plasma bolt striking precisely where the commander's armor joined at the thorax. He collapsed, green fluid leaking from the wound. Impossible, he gasped. You are just one human. Jaya knelt beside the dying commander. That's what you never understood. I'm never just one human. I carry the knowledge, determination, and adaptability of my entire species. She leaned closer. And now you get to be the messenger. Messenger. The one survivor who crawls back to your emperor and warns him, Earth is off limits. 3 months later, Jaya stood at a podium before the newly formed United Earth Defense Council. The room was packed with military leaders, politicians, and scientists from around the globe. The Zorvan threat has been neutralized, she reported. Their remaining forces have retreated beyond the heliosphere. The captured technology has been reverse-engineered, and we have already implemented the first phase of our planetary defense grid. General Harriman, the Council's chairperson, leaned forward. And the likelihood of their return? According to the intelligence we gathered, unlikely in the extreme. Commander Vex's escape pod reached their home territory with our message. Apparently, the Emperor was most displeased with another failure. So we are safe? Someone asked. What? Dr. Reeves, now heading the Alien Technology Division, answered that question. Not exactly. The Zorvan database revealed something concerning. They are just one of several expansionist species in our galactic neighborhood. We may have won this battle, but the war for our survival has only just begun. Murmurs of concern rippled through the assembly. The difference, Jaya interjected, is that we are no longer defenseless. We have their technology, their strategic information, and most importantly, we have proven what humanity does best: turn adversity into advantage. Later, as Jaya gazed out at the night sky from the observation deck, Dr. Reeves joined her. "They are calling you a hero," he said quietly. "Savior of humanity." Jaya shook her head. "I just did what anyone would have done." "Is that what you really believe?" She considered the question seriously. "What I believe is that the Zorvan made a fundamental error. They saw our physical limitations and deemed us inferior. They never considered our mental adaptability as a strength." "The ultimate irony," Reeves mused. "They came to study us as specimens." "And became a case study themselves," Jaya finished with a small smile. "There's a lesson there." "Indeed. Speaking of which, the Council has approved your proposal for the Interstellar Defense Initiative. You will have whatever resources you need." Jaya nodded, her gaze returning to the stars. "Good. Because what comes next will make the Zorvan look like amateurs." "You think there's worse out there?" "I know there is. But they are about to learn what the Zorvan learned." Her expression hardened with determination. "Never underestimate a species that turns being underestimated into a weapon." Above them, the first of Earth's new defense satellites, built with repurposed Zorvan technology, moved silently across the night sky. A testament not to humanity's strength or technological prowess, but to their defining characteristic, the absolute refusal to accept defeat.